Okay, now you've done f***ed up. Hold up. Roll that back. Did Aloy just put on blackface? Oh no, there's some other colors in there too. Careful now, Aloy. You're in the danger zone. Okay, I recently just finished a completionist run of Horizon Forbidden West, and I'm here to share my in-depth thoughts on the experience. In this video, I'll be diving deep into the gameplay and activities you'll encounter in the latest PlayStation exclusive from Guerilla Games. This is a spoiler-free review, and I'll do my best to steer clear of any story details. However, I will be showing some footage from mid and late game areas to highlight particular game mechanics or aspects of the title, like visuals or combat. So if you want to preserve your virgin eyes and come into this game completely blind, then well, why are you on YouTube right now? Go play the game already if you want to. For everyone else, buckle up, grab some iced coffee, and enjoy this review of Horizon Forbidden West. What's up everyone? Big Dan here. I make videos about RPGs and action games like Mass Effect, Dragon Age, and Horizon. If that's your cup of coffee, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss any new videos. Without further ado, let's dive right in. Horizon Forbidden West is the perfect embodiment of what a sequel should be. It retains the core of what made Zero Dawn a great game back in 2017, while simultaneously building on that strong foundation to make something that feels unique and fresh to play. The game picks up several months after the events of Zero Dawn, as Aloy steps up to confront new challenges and uncover more mysteries of the old ones, and of course, perfect the Irish goodbye.
After the battle at the Spire, you took off, you left without so much as a handshake. I mean, people like me, we fought and bled at your side, Aloy. You just disappear? What kind of person does that?
Don't you say goodbye?
As with its predecessor, the visuals in this game are absolutely breathtaking. The environments and stunning vistas are one of the best parts of the experience. Just take a look at some of these locations you'll get to explore in the Forbidden West. Despite strong visuals, unfortunately the game is somewhat limited by the hardware of the PlayStation console. I played this game on the PS4 Pro, and I experienced frequent low-resolution textures, pop-in, and other visual anomalies, like NPCs appearing out of thin air, or that time Aloy scaled an invisible mountain. A truly incredible feat for our champion. Stuff like this made me laugh, didn't actually harm progression or cause unnecessary deaths, so at the end of the day, it wasn't really a big deal for me. I don't know if the game runs any better on the PlayStation 5, but I do hope for a PC version in the future. I'd love to see what this game looks like on a high-end PC rig at max settings. I'd also love to have a high-end PC rig. Visual bugginess aside, the game runs at a stable frame rate, and I didn't experience more than a handful of gameplay bugs in the roughly 60 hours I spent with the title. This isn't a cyberpunk experience. Forbidden West is a fairly well-polished game with a few rough edges here and there. Exploration is one of the main reasons I gravitate towards open-world games like this one. For the most part, Horizon Forbidden West is incredibly strong in terms of exploration and traversal. The game gives you lots of tools for navigating the environment and tons of interesting locations to explore. You can use the wing glider to drift down from mountains, the diving mask allows you to explore sunken depths for treasure, and other special tools like the vine cutter and igniter allow you to open up previously inaccessible pathways. Finally, the pull caster is like Aloy's Swiss Army knife. She can use it for grappling, opening up vents, removing debris, or manipulating pillars and boxes to her heart's content. But that being said, I do have some serious criticisms about how exploration is blocked off or gated in this game. The main thing I don't like about the 4 specialty tools is that you don't unlock some of them until around the middle of the game. This means you'll be running into blocked pathways frequently during the early parts of Forbidden West.
I don't think I can get past them. Guess I should leave it for now. Red crystals growing on the wall. I don't think there's anything I can do about them. Don't think I'm getting anywhere through here. Doesn't look like there's any way to climb this tall neck. Gates are shut. I guess I'll have to come back later.
The map is also segmented in a way that means you won't have access to all locations until very late in the game. I didn't fully realize how restrictive this was until I started a second playthrough recently. Horizon Forbidden West isn't like Oblivion, Skyrim, or The Witcher 3, where you can gain access to every area of the map after the tutorial sections. In the early game, you're only able to explore the Daunt, which is fine because it's essentially the tutorial section of the map. And on a first playthrough, it's nice to spend some time there, learning all the mechanics and completing side quests. But even after you leave the Daunt, there are still 2 more gigantic sections of the map that are gated off to you. You only have access to the areas around Plainsong for the rest of the early game. If you try to access the rest of the map, all you'll find is closed gates and an immersion-breaking message that just says you cannot go here. Finally, you won't gain access to the ruins of San Francisco or the flying machine mount until quite late in the game. One of the main reasons I play open world games is that sense of freedom you get from exploring a big, beautiful game world. So to have all of these arbitrary restrictions and content gating is super annoying and feels unnecessary for a game in this genre. At the beginning of this section, I said that exploration was one of the game's strong suits, so these criticisms might seem to contradict that. But I will say, when you're actually able to explore these areas, it is a lot of fun. I love finding some hidden gems along the way, some of which had no map markers to guide me to them. I discovered a nice Utaru armor set in an unmarked location early in the game, which felt great. It was nice to get rewarded for just going off the beaten path for a bit. I also found a note from the Oseram Delver Gildan, who was one of the most memorable NPCs from the Frozen Wilds DLC in Horizon Zero Dawn. There was also a cool little memorial tucked away on an unmarked island outside San Francisco. Moments like these really captured my attention and made exploration feel exciting and worthwhile, rather than just running between a collection of map markers like I would do in a Ubisoft-styled open world. So despite my criticism of how exploration is gated off, I do really enjoy exploring the world of Forbidden West. I just hope to play a modded PC version someday where these restrictions have been lifted. Just like in Zero Dawn, you can override machines and use them like horses to travel throughout the world. You'll even unlock the ability to override and fly on sun wings, though as I said, that won't happen until fairly late in the main story. Overall, I absolutely loved exploring this game world, discovering new locations, quests, and collectibles. Forbidden West also has a strong emphasis on environmental puzzles, both during quests and side activities like the Relic Ruins, Cauldrons, and Tallnecks. I usually don't enjoy puzzles in video games, but I surprisingly had a lot of fun figuring out the Relic Ruins in particular. But more on that later. One area where Guerilla Games saw massive improvement is in the quality of their side quests. Horizon Zero Dawn had a lot of cookie-cutter, fairly forgettable fetch and kill quests. Don't get me wrong, there were a handful of standout quests in that game, but for the most part, the side quests weren't anything exciting. Horizon Forbidden West, on the other hand, has a lot of really interesting and engaging side quests with memorable NPCs and unpredictable story arcs. This isn't quite on par with the side quests in The Witcher 3, but it's maybe one tier below that, which is still high praise.
I don't think I caught your name.
Q.
Wait, as in QAnon? Here are a few that stuck out in my mind. There's a great questline where you settle a conflict between 2 rival leaders in the Desert Clan. There's a really interesting murder mystery quest in Plainsong. The questline with Talana, who is a returning character from Zero Dawn, was really good. And the companion quest with Kotala was great too. I could go on and on about the side quests in this game, but suffice it to say I was always excited to see one of those green exclamation points on the map. I'm burnt out on cookie-cutter side quests in open-world games, and Forbidden West really breaks the mold when it comes to storytelling in their side content, which is a refreshing change from other games in the genre, including Zero Dawn. Okay, let's talk about the combat in Horizon Forbidden West. If you played Zero Dawn, then this will all be familiar to you. They've added a handful of new gameplay mechanics, but for the most part, it feels the same as Zero Dawn. There are 2 main enemy types you'll be squaring off against in the game, machines and humans. So let's start with machine combat, since this is the major draw of these games for many people. Aloy has a variety of tools to help her take down machines, including a variety of bows, spears, and projectile-based weapons. There are a handful of new weapon types as well, like the Shredder Gauntlet, which throws these boomerang-style discs. There's also the Bolt Blaster, which is like a machine gun that shoots arrows. Aloy can also use traps and elemental ammo types to target weaknesses of the enemies. The new elemental types are Adhesive, Purge Water, and Plasma. You've got those in addition to standard types like Frost, Fire, Shock, Acid, etc. When fighting machines, you'll mostly be using ranged weapons to target weak points, in combination with traps and elemental damage to help bring down your enemies faster. There are a lot of new machine types in the game as well. They recycled some enemies from Zero Dawn, which is to be expected from a lore standpoint, but there are many new enemies you'll face. Some of the bigger ones, like the Slaughter Spine, even have their own unique combat music, which is pretty cool. Unsurprisingly, this game also has a skill tree with a few different branching paths based on playstyle. There's Warrior, Hunter, Trapper, Survivor, Infiltrator, and Machine Master. If you're doing all the side quests and activities, then you can pretty much max out every skill tree, so there's no urgent need to stress out over your character build. But you'll definitely want to start by putting points into the areas that best suit your playstyle. I focused mostly on Infiltrator, Hunter, and Trapper. Aloy also has 2 new special abilities, Valor Surges and Weapon abilities. Both of these are unlocked through the skill tree as you level up, and can be triggered in combat after you've filled up their respective meters. Weapon abilities are specific to the various weapon types like Hunter Bow, etc. Valor Surges are unique combat buffs. You can only equip one Valor Surge at any given time, but you can always swap them if you want to try different abilities. When you activate one, it triggers a cool little cinematic. Okay, now you've done f***ed up. Hold up, roll that back. Did Aloy just put on blackface? Oh no, there's some other colors in there too. Careful now, Aloy, you're in the danger zone. My favorite ability was this invisibility cloak that reminded me of the Infiltrator class build in Mass Effect 2 and 3. It's actually part of the Infiltrator skill tree, which are all your stealth abilities and skills. I'd like to think that this is a nod to Mass Effect, but that's probably a stretch. One big change to combat is the new melee combo system. In Zero Dawn, you basically just had light attacks and heavy attacks, but in Forbidden West, you can perform all sorts of complicated melee combos. While these are pretty cool, ultimately, how useful is it really? Melee is pretty much only effective against human enemies, which you basically only fight if you're clearing out rebel camps and outposts. Also, while some of the combos are really flashy, the basic ones like Block Breaker and Nora Warrior are really effective. So who is honestly going to use a 5 or 6 button melee combo when 3 button combos is just as useful? I don't know. Horizon Forbidden West also has a basic bitch stealth system, which kind of feels like a discount Assassin's Creed. We've all seen this stuff before, hiding in tall grass, silent melee takedowns, distractions, etc. It's functional, but not innovative at all, and it lacks some basic features even compared to Zero Dawn. Most notably, you can no longer whistle to attract enemies towards you. Now you can only use rocks to distract enemies and separate them from groups. I found the rock throws pretty annoying to use too, because the enemies don't go to the location where you threw the rock. They usually stop a few feet away. So if you want to draw an enemy to your location for a silent strike, you need to throw the rock behind you. It's totally jank. One other janky thing about stealth is that you have 0 control over Aloy's animation when performing a silent strike. So you don't know if she's going to pull the enemy into the grass for a discreet kill, or literally do a backflip out into the open in front of a group of enemies. This led to some hilariously frustrating stealth-breaking moments.
Ow!
Change of plans.
There's movement out there.
Been spotted.
I need help!
For the most part, stealth is only useful in Forbidden West as an opening salvo. Take out a few enemies before you're inevitably discovered and have to fight out in the open. It's a functional system, but many other games do it better than this. So let's talk about some of the open world activities you can experience in the Forbidden West. As with most open world games, these are a mixed bag. Most of them are pretty fun, but a lot of it is kind of copy-pasted activities. It's not as bad as Ubisoft though, and some activities were more handcrafted and unique in each location, particularly the Tallnecks and Relic Ruins. Tallnecks are basically Guerilla Games' version of the sync points in Assassin's Creed. However, they are much more fun and in-depth to complete. Also, there are only 4 or 5 of them in the game, and each one presents a unique challenge. There's one tall neck that's malfunctioning that you need to take down with ballistas. There's one in a jungle where you need to scale a series of platforms to reach it. There's a broken one underwater that you need to fix up and then jump onto. There's even one inside a cauldron, which was probably one of the coolest ones in the game. Speaking of cauldrons, these were the most fun areas to explore in the game for me. If you haven't played any Horizon games before, there are these gigantic machine cauldrons that were built by an AI, and they basically manufacture all the enemies we'll encounter in the game. Exploring these reminds me of the Remtech vaults in Mass Effect Andromeda and some of the Isu sites in Assassin's Creed. I absolutely love the aesthetics and design of the cauldrons, and it's important to complete them because this is how you'll unlock those machine overrides.
Down it is. Cable seems sturdy enough.
No fucking way! I can't believe I did that! As with many open world games, there are a bunch of copy and paste rebel outposts and camps throughout the map. This is basic open world stuff, but I will say that the larger rebel camps at least have a minor quest line attached to them, so those are worth doing. Another activity is salvage contracts, which are basically just fetch quests that you complete for this team of awesome salvagers you're found at various camps. The quests themselves are pretty boring, but at the end you'll get a legendary suit of armor, so I guess it's worth doing for that. Guerilla Games also put a bunch of challenge-style activities in Forbidden West as well. I'll just rattle these off real quick. Gauntlet runs are anything-goes races where you ride charger mounts against Tanakh tribesmen. These were kind of difficult as you constantly need to defend against incoming attacks, and the races are impossible to win without using boosts and striking down riders in front of you. Hunting grounds are back from Zero Dawn. These are time challenges that require you to take out various machines in specific ways. My favorite was using the wing glider to do aerial takedowns, which was pretty badass. Melee pits are basically just practice arenas where you test out the various melee combos and then fight against the local pit champion. Some of these challenges were stupidly difficult, especially the ones that required you to chain together like a 12-button combo, which you'll instantly fail if you miss even one input by a fraction of a second. I just feel like they didn't play test these before release or something. It's so funny that the specific combo challenges were way harder than the fights against the pit champions. But anyhow, this is basically just a glorified tutorial for the melee combo system, and as a result, it wasn't that fun at all. There's also an arena because, you know, every open world game has to have an arena. We've all seen this before. The main reason to do these is to buy some of the legendary gear that you can only unlock at the arena. Aside from these activities, there are also a ton of collectibles. My favorite ones were the Relic Ruins, which are unique and fairly complex environmental puzzles. If you like environmental puzzles, you'll have a blast with these. There are also survey drones, which you have to scale up and jump onto, and these will unlock some cool panorama displays for the dome in your base. You can also find black boxes from the old world. These audio logs are pretty haunting depictions of the apocalypse, as all of these are found in planes which obviously crashed. I liked finding these. Any of the old world lore in this game is fascinating to me. There are a few other collectible items, but you get the idea. It's the kind of stuff you'd expect in a modern open world game. Before I wrap up this video, I want to briefly mention the companions in Horizon Forbidden West. This might be considered a light spoiler, but I won't talk about any of the story beats or characters specifically. I just want to say that Guerilla Games clearly put a lot more effort into fleshing out side characters in this game. A few of them are returning characters from Zero Dawn, but most of them are new. At times, the writing even gave me BioWare vibes, which is pretty impressive. Though, hold your horses, overall, these characters don't hold a candle to BioWare's best companions from Dragon Age and Mass Effect. But it's nice that they put a lot of effort to flesh out Aloy's allies because this was a huge weakness in the first game. So at the end of the day, is Horizon Forbidden West worth it? Yes, it's a great open world game and a refreshing experience. It's not a masterpiece by any means, and there are certainly some major flaws, but it's one of the better open world games to come out in the past few years. Unfortunately, it's being overshadowed by Elden Ring, but let's be real, Souls games aren't something that everyone enjoys. So I think Horizon Forbidden West scratches that open world itch without needing to die for 3 hours to learn a boss's moveset. It also delivers a more straightforward, traditional 3-act narrative, which is great for folks like me who love story-driven games. But all that being said, I don't think it's worth running out and buying a PlayStation 4 or PlayStation 5 just to play this game. I recommend Forbidden West if you already own a PlayStation, but if not, just wait for that PC port sometime in the future. So there you have it, my completionist review of Horizon Forbidden West. If you like this video, be sure to subscribe to Big Dan Gaming for more Mass Effect and Horizon videos. Also, big shout out to all the channel members for supporting my content. Until next time, this has been Big Dan.
I should go.